Hey guys, how's it going? So remember when I said I was going to do more book reviews? Well, I did what, 2, maybe 3 of them, and then they kind of stopped. Well, I haven't stopped reading. So since the last book review, I've read The Outsiders, which was a good read, and then I read The Green Mile, and then I don't remember what I read in April, but then, now I think some of these books are from the last bit of April, but I mostly read all these books in May. So I don't know how I want to do book reviews. I don't think I've been very good at the book reviews, which obviously I know the more I do it, the better it's going to get. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss what I plan to read and then what I have read through the month. So I didn't do it in May, but we'll do what I read in May. So in May, let's start with singular books. I just finished up To Kill a Mockingbird. Now, I read this book in freshman year of high school. I haven't touched it since, and I decided, I don't remember what brought it up. We were talking, my brother and I were talking about it, and then I asked my mom to get it for me for my birthday. So I just picked it up. I just finished it too. Actually, last night, after I got off work, I finished it. I had like 10 pages left. I was gutted. I couldn't finish before work, but it is such a great classical read. I'm sure you guys have all read it. So we just finished this one. And then I read a whole series. Now, James Patterson is one of my favorite authors. A lot of people have issues with him, but I don't so much. He writes a lot of young adult novels, and it's really easy for me to follow into his writing, and I don't, sometimes I struggle with some authors' writing, but with him, it's very, very easy. So his is the Maximum Ride series. I finished it all but one book. I have to get either I have to wait for it to come from Amazon, or I'm going to see if I can pick it up from the library, which means I have to get a new library card because I don't have one anymore. So the Maximum Ride series is basically about avian and bird kids. So there's 6 of them, and they're 98% human, 2% avian, so birds. They have wings. They were genetically engineered that way before they were kids, so they were test tube babies. And the leader of the flock, is what they call themselves, is told that they have to save the world. So he goes through the stories of how they became the way they are and how they are faced to save the world. So it starts with the angel experiment. So I was actually introduced to this 9th grade year in my intensive reading class. I actually struggled with reading comprehension a lot, which is why I think I struggle with book reviews. So it takes me a little bit sometimes to read books. So she actually introduced us to the Maximum Ride series, and I've loved it ever since. And then after that, it goes to The School's Out Forever. Now, when they talk about school, they're not talking about like high school, middle school, elementary school, anything like that. They call the school where they were born and kind of raised and tested on the school. So they basically bust out of school and kind of do their own thing. So from there we go. Well, actually, we'll start over. So, Maximum Ride, Angel Experiment. Angel is the youngest of the 6 flock people. She gets basically kidnapped and taken back to school, and they experiment on her a little bit more, and so the flock break into the school and break her out, and it's just a wonderful story, and there's more to it. But I don't want, if you're interested in it, I don't want to destroy the whole plot, but she is kidnapped, and they have to go save her. Now, I think in saving the world and other extreme sports is when they go to, they follow a group, and I think that's when they go to Antarctica. I can't remember. This is part of my reading issue, is all these books kind of go together. Now, I want to say they try to go, oh, no, I lied. So they all go to a regular school, and, all the creatures, the erasers, which are half human, half wolf, go after them. And so they go to a regular school, and they get protected by the FBI, and they bust out of the school, of course, because no school can hold them. So then we go to The Final Warning, which I believe is when they go find the Uber director. The names that they find and the descriptions of them is crazy. So I believe the Uber director is basically a robot with this like weird spine and then a plastic box around the brain, and it kind of gets wheeled around everywhere. So they get kidnapped by the Uber director, and he tries to say, hey, you need to work for me, and we're gonna save the world together, because the cause that you're working for isn't, they're the reason why the world's gonna end, yada yada yada. And they bust out of a place at like a category 5+ hurricane in Miami. So I thought that was kind of really cool. And they go to Antarctica and they help learn about stuff, and they get to play with penguins and things like that. It's just really cute. And then I believe we go to Fang. Now, I don't remember what happened to the book cover for it, but it is Fang, and this is when, I don't remember exactly, but I think this is when they decide, they go to Africa and help out their causes. So they go to Africa and they help feed the poor, the hungry there, the starving there, and they run into another doctor, evil scientist basically, and they find another half human or 90% human avian, and turns out that he's a clone. And the doctor tells them more things that they, he wants them on their side, of course, because who doesn't want bird people on their side to fight the evil world? And then we go into Max. Now, Max is the leader of the flock, remember, and her and Fang are they're best friends. They grew up together. He's her right-hand man, always has her back, knows what she's gonna do. Basically, you're with someone long enough, you know everything about them. So they split up, and she's stuck with the new guy, Dylan, and they're going with a coalition. And they try to stop other world-provoking things. And I believe in Max is when they find that there's like brainwashing going on, and it's when the world starts ending, and they're like, we have to kill off all the people, all the hybrids are what's gonna save the world. You're gonna last through the world ending. So they start fighting the coalition that is trying to end them. Again, more fighting to save the world. This whole series is about saving the world and fighting. And then we run into Angel. Now, at the very end of Max, Angel disappears again. She has a knack, an ability, if you will, to constantly disappear throughout the series. I want to say she disappears about 4 times through the series, and you have to rescue her. Well, this time they think she's dead. And so Fang is still not really with the group. He creates his own flock, and then Max has Dylan, Gazzy, Iggy, and Nudge for her flock, and I don't remember. Okay, so the next one is Angel. Now, in this one, the flock splits up. Fang goes her way with Iggy, Gazman, Angel, and Dylan, Nudge, and then Fang leaves and starts his own gang, his own flock, if you will. Now, they're going their separate ways, but they end up fighting for the same causes and going after the same people somehow, some way. It's not like they're communicating with each other, and she basically ignores him because they fall in love. Well, they go their separate ways, and they stop talking to each other, and they end up fighting all the same stuff, which is crazy. It takes them over to Paris, and then towards the end, Angel disappears again. What a surprise. It's like the 4th time in the series she disappears, and they work together to find her. Then we come into Nevermore. This is the one where everything gets real. The world is ending. The world's ending. It's going to be so clear. Dylan can see into the future now, and he knows things that are going to happen before anyone else sees them. Max finds out that the doctor that helps her at the very beginning of this series is actually her mother. A couple books before Nevermore. And her mom's like, hey, we found this beautiful oasis. Jeff's actually a bad guy, Max's father. And we're going to bring you to a safe place, and that's where you're going to survive. And then abruptly the world ends. Like, I struggled so much to get through this book. I almost didn't finish the book. Which is why I'm going to wait to read the last book. Because if I'm going to struggle through a book, I might as well just wait a little bit. And hopefully, I heard that it's not a very good book. It's Maximum Ride Forever. I heard that it's not good. It's the worst book of the series. And I can see why. As the storyline just kind of like dragged along. And I enjoyed it at the beginning, and towards the end it was like a chore to finish reading, but I had to finish reading it. So I finished reading the series. I have 1 book left. and I'm going to wait a little bit to read it. And then, like I said, after I finished the series, I went and I read To Kill a Mockingbird. Now that that's done, I have about 4 more days to go before the month's over. So I'm actually going to try to read Trident K-9 Warriors. Now, it is about discover how man's best friend can also be our country's greatest weapon in this thrilling account of some of the most skilled working animals on the planet. As a SEAL during a combat deployment in Iraq, Mike Ritland saw a military working dog in action and instantly knew he had found his true calling. He started his own company, training and supplying dogs for the SEAL teams, U.S. government, and Department of Defense. Today, Ritland's highly trained dogs are capable of handling both detection and apprehension work in the most extreme environments and battlefield conditions. With the first of its kind book, readers are offered an inside look at these elite canine warriors, unwavering in their devotion to duty, tough enough to protect our country against all enemies in the extreme missions they undertake to save countless lives. So I haven't started this yet. I know I'll be able to finish it before Sunday. Before Sunday's done, I will have it finished, and then we will start June fresh and ready to go. But I'm really excited to read this. I am a huge fan of military books as well, and I had picked up a couple more military books. But that is kind of what I read for May. I have been a busy little bee reading my little head off. I find that reading at nighttime has kind of helped me out a lot, so I've been enjoying that. So in the next week's video, we are going to dive into what I plan on reading in June, and then so I'll keep this up, and then I'll fumble around with some book reviews, and I'll see what I can do. But I have been reading, and I have picked up some classic books, which we'll talk about in the next week's video. So if you have any suggestions of books you think I should read, just place them on in the comments down below, and I will write down all the books again in the description for you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed what I read for May, and I will catch you next week. Have a good day.